How do you sustain your marriage abroad? This topic is very important, very topical for me because of the new realities that I've seen overseas in terms of people migrating abroad or relocating, and their families and their marriages continue to collapse. This has reached an epidemic level that, to the extent that I think it is very important to contribute to this situation intellectually. This falls within the remit of sociology of the family, sociology of marriage, to the extent that I have the capacity to contribute to this so that I can assist in salvaging the situation. Therefore, today, it is important to contribute towards the topic I said, how to sustain your marriage and family overseas after migrating or relocating. You don't necessarily need to have a collapsed marriage or a collapsed relationship or a collapsed family when you relocate abroad, because you can have your family, have your marriage, at the same time have the best of overseas life. So what are the things for you to do? Because your marriage and your relationships are very important now and even in the future. Your marriages, your families are very important, your relationships are very important social capitals that you can use to even achieve your end overseas or achieve your goals abroad. The first thing you need to do is to recognize the cultural changes that must occur when you get overseas. Wherever you are coming from, the culture must be different from where you are now. If you are from Africa, for example, or even Asia or developing countries, patriarchy is very strong in those places, to the extent that the man has a lot of privileges over the female gender. So when you get abroad, you must realize that the cultural environment is going to be different. If you are the one that has been having your ways over your wife or over others because you are a man, definitely this will change. Your wife may even be more privileged within the social and cultural environment over there. So you need to come to terms with this reality and agree the fact that, well, this is the new reality. The new norm here is equality, mutual respect, and equal gender opportunities. So therefore, you need to recognize this and be ready to adjust. Adaptability is very important overseas. You must adapt to the new cultural reality. Essentially also, many women are just been coping under the gender situation they find in their country of origin. Now, when they get abroad, it's time to assert themselves. So therefore, many of them will begin to ask for their right, ask for their respect. So this is not a problem. For me, the important thing is to recognize this cultural shift and be ready to adapt. So that, and everybody must recognize that we have to make this marriage intentionally work abroad. It's not the time for the wife or the husband to continue to claim right, to continue to say now is payback time. So the two of you have to be intentional. So recognize the cultural change or cultural dynamics that will shift, that will happen. Also, be intentional that we have to make this marriage work because we both need it. If you think, okay, if I let go of my wife, if I let go of my partner, if I let go of my husband, I'll be better off. I tell you, in the future, you may look back from experience and from researches, you may look back and say, wow, I would have loved to make this work. Because I've interviewed and I've researched into people who were not able to sustain their marriages abroad, their families abroad. Eventually, later in life, they were full of regrets. So you don't have to regret later on. Manage the situation very well. They understand the legal system. The legal system in those places, in your destination, is likely to work more fundamentally, inclusively, more than where you are coming from. So you understand the legal system and how that may make you vulnerable, how that may be dangerous for your marriage. And so be careful to understand the legal system. And if you are a man or a woman, you don't need to turn in your husband to the legal system immediately. Manage your crisis very well. You don't need to quickly resort to the legal system that will just break the marriage for you. I tell you, you have a lot of opportunity to gain when you maintain your marriage or relationship abroad than just scattering it. Then another point is be original. You don't have to compare your marriage or your family or your relationship with everyone else. Be original. Be intentional to protect your own marriage and make your own marriage work. Don't just say because Mr. A or Mrs. B sent her husband away or sent his wife away, so I just want to follow that route too because of some other benefits. Those benefits may not pay you in the long run. When the children go, when it remains only you may have things to cry about. I've seen so many people, I've researched into so many people who just turn their husband or their wife into the legal system, destroy their marriages, and eventually they have a lot to regret in later. And I know people who still keep their marriages intact, and in the long run, or their families or their partnership intact, and in the long run, they fare better. I can assure you, from research, from my sociological understanding, that families overseas after relocating who were able to keep their marriages together, they fare better in the long run, financially, even socially, even in terms of mental health, and even in the longevity, in the how well and how long they live. Those who keep their marriages and who keep their families, who keep their partnership, they do better in the long run. And that's why I feel it's very important to intervene at this level. So be mutually respectful, be intentional in keeping your marriages or your relationship or partnership, knowing fully well that you will do better. And also, make sure you respect the cultural dynamics and the cultural difference that will happen after relocating. And also, know fully well that you have to respect the legal system. At the same time, be careful in turning yourself over to the legal system over there that may not understand your legal your social peculiarity, your normativity of where you are coming from. Be dynamic, be constructive. Both of you respect each other, mutually respect each other, and know fully well that it pays you in the long run to make your marriages, your families, your partnerships, your relationship, or your relationships work in the long run. These are social capitals that you need now and in the future. I wish you well. Do all you can do to be sure that you make your marriages, your families work abroad. It will pay you in the long run. Subscribe, share, comment, and like. Till I see you in the next video. There's another one coming up, still on this issue, because it's a very important issue that is central to my heart. I drop that one and you will enjoy it. Should you have comments, drop them. Until I see you in the next video along this line, thank you very much.